Happy summer, happy dog days of summer, where sometimes you just really need a quick, easy dinner that doesn't involve a lot of heat, a lot of cooking, and still delivers a really good, delicious, flavorful meal. In comes the perfect tomato sandwich. The tomato sandwich is something that I was not familiar with until, I don't know, 15 years ago. I grew up in the Northeast area, and tomato sandwiches just wasn't a thing. Maybe it is now, but it wasn't when I was growing up. And so it wasn't until I moved down to the Southeast, I'm in North Carolina, so to the South, that I really learned about tomato sandwiches and the high esteem they hold in the Southern kitchen, especially in summer when those tomatoes are producing and you just want to bite into one and it's so delicious. So many Southerners will probably agree. So there's like a hair in my face. Many Southerners will probably agree that the traditional true tomato sandwich is going to have a certain brand of mayonnaise on it. Now, a tomato sandwich is the bread, the mayonnaise, the tomato, and the salt and pepper. And yes, the mayonnaise matters. It does matter. And so you may find yourself in one camp or another, depending upon the brand. I'm not going to name brands, but you probably have your favorite mayonnaise. My favorite is the homemade mayonnaise. This is mayonnaise that I just made this morning, actually. It's with a raw egg, farm fresh egg, some parsley, salt, garlic clove, a little mustard, olive oil, little lemon juice. Oh, and a little bit of a fermented carrot juice, the fermentation juice. So this is a recipe that I cannot take credit for. This is the lacto fermented mayonnaise from Josh and Carolyn at the Homesteading Family. I've been making this for about a year now and I love it. I love being able to make our own mayonnaise and change the flavors with some of the different herbs depending on how we're going to use it. And one less thing I have to buy from the store. So pick your mayonnaise, pick what works for you, or make your own. Next, the bread. Again, there are many debates within the Southern circle as to what's the best bread to make your tomato sandwich with. I'm going to tell you, it's just really whatever bread you prefer. So I've done it with our homemade sourdough. I just recently baked a sandwich loaf and cut it up this morning. And so I just toasted it in the oven for a little bit. So we've got a homemade whole wheat honey sandwich loaf that I'm going to use to make our tomato sandwich with. Use the bread that you like and that you prefer. Salt, pepper, Redmond real salt, absolutely, of course, that's a no-brainer. And then freshly cracked black pepper. Guys, salt and pepper is probably one of the, and I group them together, the most important ingredient in just about every kitchen in all over the world. Don't be going and buying those little pepper shakers that have the pepper already ground. Get yourself a pepper mill and grind it fresh for how you are going to use it, whether it be a coarse grind, I have one for a fine grind. It makes all the difference. Same with the salt, right? Do the Redmond real salt. Don't do the iodized salt or anything else. Get the good stuff. Okay, lastly, the tomato. I highly recommend you get a fresh grown tomato just picked off the vine. Do not go to the grocery store and buy yourself a tomato. It's not the same. They don't have any flavor. If you're not growing tomatoes, find a friend who is and see if you can get some, or go to a local farm or go to one of those roadside markets, right, where some of the farmers are selling their things, but get that fresh tomato. A tomato sandwich is nothing I would ever eat in the dead of winter. It's just not the same. So this is one of the reasons why it's so anticipated in the summer, is when those tomatoes start ripening up. So we're gonna make two variations here. We're gonna make the traditional, just simple tomato sandwich, and then I have got some freshly cooked bacon and some washed chard from the garden, and we're gonna make a BLT also. First and foremost, let's get some mayonnaise on our toasted bread. Like I said, this has garlic and parsley. You can do oregano, dill, whatever you like. Or you could skip the herbs altogether. Next, the tomato, and there's often a school of thought about how you slice the tomato too. I tend to usually go this side. My husband usually does it from the top. We'll try it this way this time. And then you just have the core in there you have to be aware of depending on how far you're going down. I like thick slices, so I usually cut our tomato slices between 1/4 to maybe 1/3 of an inch thick. A really good hearty piece. And I'm gonna layer 3 pieces on there. Next, the freshly cracked pepper and the Redmond real salt. And put just a little salt and pepper underneath here too. Sometimes I will actually let the salt and pepper just sit on the tomato before I do anything else, like put the top on and take a bite, just to kind of let it meld into the tomato. So then, that's all you're gonna do for your tomato sandwich. I'm actually gonna cut this in half, because half of it is gonna be a BLT. But folks, this is your delicious, traditional Southern tomato sandwich. Cheers. Use towel. So good. It doesn't get any better. There are days in the summer where this is what I'm eating for lunch and dinner. Hands down, both meals, multiple days in a row. Especially when the tomatoes start coming in and they're just so beautiful and delicious. Okay, let's take this other half and make it a BLT. Now, I'm pretty sure most folks here know how to make a BLT, so this isn't gonna be earth-shattering. But because we've got some delicious fresh chard and some good bacon in here, I'm just gonna add another little piece and layer that right on top. Perfect. Is there anything better in the summer? There isn't. And sometimes, if I don't want the sandwich, I will literally just cut the tomato, put it on a plate, salt and pepper it, and eat it with a fork and knife, just like that, fresh. So good. All right, I'm gonna go eat my dinner now. I know this was simple, but I really think it was important to introduce you to the traditional Southern tomato sandwich because, again, not everyone knows. And you can thank me later because you need this in your life. Stay healthy, stay well. I'll see you next time.